One of the major mistakes I see a lot of traders do is trying to catch a reversal from the top or from the bottom without really getting any proper confirmation that price is going to drop. They only want to catch a sell or a buy because price is sitting at a resistance or support zone. And 9 out of 10, the market normally smashes their stop loss because they are literally standing in front of a price that is moving in a direction. They are rather forcing it to reverse without any proper reversal structure. So what if I told you that there is a way you can literally follow to properly catch reversals by following a step-by-step process? If you are in a position where you are always taking losses whenever you try to catch reversals, then this video is for you. So let's jump right into it. Now, my question is, if you jump on the chart right now and this is the structure, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna be looking for buying opportunities, or are you gonna be looking for selling opportunities? We are on an uptrend. We have been creating higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows. So it is very obvious, or it makes sense for you to actually look for buying opportunities. But if you look to your left, you can also see that price has approached a level where it rejected in the past. So this is a very strong resistance level, very strong resistance level. So in as much as we are on an uptrend, you also know that we are approaching a level where price could literally drop, right? So there are two things that can happen. Price could either break out and then continue, or price could just reverse right here and then drop, simply because we are getting this, right? So for buying opportunities, personally, what I want to do is to wait for price to at least break out of this zone for it to confirm that we're not going to reject impulsively. We pull back, then we can, get a continuation, right? But if I want to sell, this is where a lot of people get it all wrong. So people think the fact that we are at a resistance, price is automatically going to drop simply because we are in this zone. So you see a lot of traders jumping in front of the trend, trying to reverse the whole structure to the downside simply because we are there. And this is what is causing a lot of traders to lose money in the market. And I don't want you to be part of those traders losing money simply because of this kind of structures. So in this session, what I want to teach you is how to actually catch this move to the downside if price is actually going to go down, right? So your main focus is going to be dependent in this zone. If price is going to go down, you need confirmations in this zone that is going to tell you that, you know what, based on what price action is doing here, based on the candlesticks, based on the price action or the market structure in that zone, price is literally going to drop. Therefore, look for selling opportunities. And that is what I want to explain to you. So most of the time, I always say, when you have a level of resistance or a demand zone or supply zone or whatever zone that you call it, first of all, you want to make sure that you understand what the market is doing in that zone. How we get there is very important. Are we getting there impulsively like this, or we are approaching that level correctively? If we are getting there correctively, you should understand the meaning of this price action. You should also understand the meaning of the impulsive phase. So with the impulsive phase, it just tells us that we have a lot of buyers pushing price to the upside. The momentum of buyers from here to there was a lot. But upon price going up, the momentum started reducing, which means we had buyers actually leaving the market. Even though we are still creating high highs and higher lows, buyers are still in control. But the volume of the buyers that took price from here to there is not the same, right? So we have buyers pressure literally reducing. That is why we are getting there correctively. So if that is the case, then it means that there is a likelihood, or there is a high possibility of buyers losing momentum for sellers to actually come into the market and push price to the downside. So I'll give you the rules around these kind of patterns when you see them in these zones, how to trade them, what to look out for, and also the confirmations that you will need in order to join or capitalize on this kind of structures to the downside. This is DXY on the weekly time frame, and I remember vividly this is a trade that I shared in my free Telegram group some time ago. So if you are not there, make sure you join, because I do share these kind of setups over there. So let me just break it down. If you look at this time frame, we are bearish. Price is just creating lows, highs. We push to the downside. It's a low, a high. Price broke structure right here, created a new low, and this was just a pullback, right? So what I want to do when price is pulling back, I'm looking at areas of value. Where is price likely to pull back to before dropping? It could be the previous level of support and resistance. We could also use the Fibonacci. There are so many ways you can literally do that, right? But personally, I like to use the Fib tool, and I have a specific zone that I look at price to tap into. These are zones that we will talk about them later in subsequent videos. All right, so this becomes a zone where I literally want to see what price will do in that zone. All right, so let's scale down. Let's go to the lower time frame. Let's go to the daily. Before this candle drop, we want to see the price action that played out there before the drop happened, because this is the exact trade that I shared in the community, and a lot of people actually capitalized on this move. All right, so if you look at this, yes, we were creating highs, lows, we broke structure, we created a high, and then we tapped into the zone that I'm literally expecting price to reach and then push to the downside. I'm not just gonna sell because we are in the zone. There are confirmations that I need at that resistance. All right, so let's go down to the 4H. On the 4H, we can see that price is just creating, you know, higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows, higher high and higher low. If I want to sell, there is no reason for me to actually even look for selling opportunities here, because the structure is still bullish. But based on my understanding on the price action and how the market is moving in that zone, it gives me a heads up that, hey, you know what, because the market is moving this type of way, there could be a possibility of price dropping. So we're going to scale down to the lower time frame. Let's go to the 1H, and then you're going to see this clearly. So before this drop, this is the setup that I saw, and then I shared with the team right here in my free Telegram group, so you can join and you can benefit from it as well. So we have a zone that was my fifth zone. It could be a resistance, it could be a supply zone, whatever. That is not even the case, but the main thing that you want to identify is how are we getting there. And you can see that we pushed the upside impulsively, we pulled back slightly, another impulsive move. But going forward, we started just going sideways like that. This is a sign that buyers are still in control, but the momentum of the buyers is just reducing right here. And this is just giving us a pattern that is just indicating that there could be a possible reversal to the downside, right? Then by the look of this, I also use the divergence, which literally tells me that, you know what, if this is going up and then we have the RSI just going down, it is an indication that we're gonna see price pushing to the downside. There's another tool for extra confirmation as well. So after seeing all these things, it's just very clear for us to actually expect price to drop, simply because we have a zone that is number one, and also we are seeing this kind of price action towards that zone. So it is not of a news for us to actually be looking for selling opportunities at this zone when price just breaks to the downside. This was news on Friday, and then we literally just caught all this move in the free Telegram and even in my premium group as well. Now, this is the example that we just looked at. I still have the zone being drawn. This is DXY, right? This is the trade that I just broke down. Look at the current market price. This is the very, very current market price. And this is analysis that I sent in my premium group when price was approaching the zone. The same system that I used right here, we use the same thing right here. So we're just going to focus on this leg, go down the lower time frames, and see how this move was called out in the group. On the 4H, on the daily, we are just bullish. Price is creating higher highs and higher lows, right? Here we are moving there impulsively. Have an impulse move, slight pullback, impulse move, slight pullback. But upon going forward, we saw price just correcting. I'll step down the lower time frame. You're gonna see that better as well, right? So seeing this structure moving correctively in this zone just gives me heads up that, you know what, based on how we are moving towards that zone is very, very corrective, telling us that the buyers can identify a resistance at that level, or can identify a key zone that will literally cause price to drop. Therefore, those who bought at the very bottom are closing their positions, and then we have, you know, the volume actually reducing right there. So this is what the structure was doing upon approaching this zone, right? If you look right here, we had an impulsive phase, slight pullback, impulsive phase, slight pullback, and then we started chopping towards the upside. If I pull up my RSI that I just showed you, you can see the same thing. We have price going up, creating highs, but the RSI is creating lows, which is also an indication that, hey, you know what, price is just gonna drop. All right, let me just show you the analysis that I sent in the group before this even dropped. So if you look at the chart, let me just scroll down, and then you see right here in the 4th October, I sent this in the chat. I said DXY, the weekly time frame. I sent this analysis, which literally indicated that, you know what, price is approaching a zone. Therefore, I wanted to see how, you know, we are gonna react, or how price is gonna get there. So this was my zone, the same zone that I just broke down the trade on. Let's go to the 4H. I sent them this analysis as well. I said price was approaching that level correctively. I showed the arrow, you know, indicating this pattern in that zone. On this 1H time frame as well, you can see right there, I pointed the arrow to the downside, also indicating the RSI divergence that we were having. This was going up, this was coming down, which actually gave them confirmation. So I said, you know what, we're gonna get in when structure breaks to the downside, and that will be the trade, right? So if you see this, I said wait for structure to shift, and then we're gonna take the same thing on EURUSD, because DXY is just the opposite of EURUSD. So if you are seeing DXY going up, it means that EURUSD is gonna go down. So right here, this is EURUSD. This is just the opposite of DXY. Let me flip it. This is how DXY is looking. If I flip it, this is EURUSD, right? So EURUSD right there, the same thing. We had a zone, price got there correctively. What did price do? Give us a double bottom right here, shift, break of the neckline, entry right there, target at the tops right here. So this was a trade that was literally called in a group, in my premium group. This was not a signal, because in my community I don't even provide signal. I provide them with purely price action, market structures, education. I literally teach them how to catch the fish instead of catching the fish for them, because if you look at the analysis, I didn't really say buy here, buy there. I just sent the screenshot and they understood exactly what I was saying, because they have gone through that process of learning with me. So when it comes to reversal, this is one entry criteria that I use. If price gets there correctively, this is how I look at the market. And this is how we capitalize. Aside looking at the market like that, we can also combine higher time frames by looking at individual candlestick confirmations and so on in that zone. All right, so it is what it is. This is just a tip of what we do in our community. If you really want to learn more, join our free community. If you also want to learn further, you can join the premium group as well, and you're gonna get a lot going forward in your trading career. Right, if you learned something, make sure you subscribe, like this video, and I'll catch you next time. It is what it is. Like the greatest. Peace.